There is the Brandon Parker Trophy that goes with a first prize of £80,000.
Der letzte Frame, den heute Nachmittag gewonnen hat, der kann enorm wichtig sein. Hier kommt er, der Amateurweltmeister von 2022, Jiahui.
A huge occasion for this young man. Of course, he made big waves at the World Championship last season when he went to the semi-finals playing brilliantly and very nearly the final before losing that gigantic lead of 9 frames against Luca Brissell. But now appearing in his first ever ranking final. He's got work to do to catch up this evening, but that 8th frame could well prove to be very significant for him, because 4 behind against Trump would have been a very tall order. 5-3, much more manageable.
Sein Gegner ist in dieser Saison das Maß aller Dinge. Der mit Abstand erfolgreichste Spieler steht in seinem 7. Finale in dieser Saison, will den 14. Titel und vor allen Dingen, er will Rekordchampion beim German Masters werden. Hier kommt er, wer ist in the pack? Judd Trump.
What an atmosphere. These are the moments that get Judd Trump's competitive juices flowing for sure. He loves playing here at the Templedrum, particularly if you can get to the 1 table, which of course we have from the semi-finals. This is when he is inspired to play his best snooker, and he has the advantage. He's halfway to the title. And what an atmosphere it is. Crammed to the rafters, this magnificent Templedrum, which can hold in excess of 3,000 people. Every seat taken for the finale this evening. Tatiana Williston, our referee for the title match. And we're ready to go for the final instalment of what has been a thoroughly entertaining 7 days of snooker here in Berlin. It's the final session of the 2024 German Masters. It's Judd Trump with a 5-3 lead over Jiahui, who's breaking off in frame 9 of a possible 19. 10 is the target for the title, the Brandon Parker Trophy, and that first prize of £80,000. And it was a very important frame, wasn't it, Neil Foulds, for Jiahui to win at the end of that first session?
It really was. I think it was a crucial frame. It was an odd frame because there was a few balls missed and misses replaced. But he won it, and that does change it. You're absolutely right. At 6-2 down, it's very hard to think that he could get back into this. But it is worth remembering that very recently Judd Trump led by this margin against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Of course, we're not seeing Ronnie here tonight. Maybe that is, of course, the difference. But he was in front in that World Grand Prix final and didn't win it. And he has, despite winning 3 ranking tournaments this season, he's been beaten in finals as well. So it's a success story, but for this young man, he's still in there.
Yes, this is Trump's 7th final of the campaign. He's been tremendously consistent again. And of course, he's looking to do something that no one has done before, win the German Masters for a 3rd time. Both Mark Williams and Ali Carter have won it twice, as he has. But for Jiahui, who's still only 21, remember, looking to land his maiden title, and that would be some story, wouldn't it, after the crushing disappointment of losing the world semi-final in the manner in which he did from that huge lead. It would just confirm his rehabilitation after that chastening loss.
Well, surely Tatiana was not going to put the pink in the middle of all these reds. I mean, that is a horrendous job to be faced with in front of a massive crowd here at the Templedrum. I mean, surely. Well, and now the red's got to be put there. I wouldn't want to be doing this job, I can tell you. I don't think it's going to go in there somehow. And it's got to be in line down the centre. At the moment, it looks a bit left of centre, doesn't it? If it was me, I would just stick it below the bunch and say it doesn't go there. But that's probably why I'm not a referee.
Well, she's a pretty cool customer, is Tatiana. Of course, it can't be touching those other reds, so it has to go in a straight line naturally without touching another ball. But wow, that is well and truly surrounded, that pink, isn't it?
I think we can safely say the pink doesn't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Not available to any pockets.
And a deserved round of applause there for the referee. So on we go. It was an excellent red for C to get in at the start of this all-important frame.
He's a terrific
11.
player, Jiahui, and he didn't always play as well as he could earlier. Judd played a very streetwise session, but he can play better as well. This is the first we've really seen of Jiahui this week in any form since that World Championship. We all know what happened there. He had a huge lead, bidding to become the youngest ever world champion in the semi-finals. Judd Trump went out in the first round. And of course, Luca Brissell was the man who went on to beat him and win it. But he has played some good stuff this week. He's an incredibly dangerous player. And he really could do
16.
with this opening frame.
I thought the way he played against Kyren Wilson when he made a shaky start from 2-0 behind to win 5 in a row, and particularly the 3 frames after the interval, was very reminiscent of the snooker we saw from him at the Crucible. He was potting everything. The long balls were going in. He had a certain swagger about him around the table. He is so dangerous when he's at his best. And he was, for those 3 frames, playing at his best. And in the end, it was too much for Kyren, who'd been producing some great form himself to get to the semis. But what a shot this is.
Yeah, very good. The cue ball stayed in the centre of the table, which is often the clue.
23.
He wasn't finding the top side of the blue most of the afternoon, which is key in this game. But he has done so immediately with that last shot.
Trump had a chance to clear, as mentioned, in the final frame of the afternoon. It looked like a pretty good one, actually, but he missed a black to the right corner pocket, and that was a big lead off for C, who only needed a red to seal the frame, and that was a relief for him because Trump was undoubtedly the better player in the first session. Scored the heavier of the 2. Top break from Trump of 82, 73 from C. What a picture.
29.
But tonight is almost like a different match, isn't it? A different session. And having emerged relatively unscathed, just 2 behind, a fast start tonight, and we could really have a thrilling final on our hands.
Well, a choice of reds here might look at the red to middle as well.
36.
Absolutely incredible
37.
ovation for the players as they walked in. This wonderful venue. I said it last night, you know, unless you've been to this venue and you think, well, we all know that the Crucible and Goffs and
44.
the old Wembley Conference Centre are the best ever. Well, you might change your mind if you ever go to the Tempodrom here in Berlin for finals night, because it's very
45.
special.
Trump having to sit out this first frame at the moment. So he had a pretty modest season before arriving in Berlin. His best ranking performance was actually the shootout, where he lost in the quarterfinals to Mark Allen, the eventual winner of that tournament. He didn't get in the World Grand Prix for the top 32 this season, but were he to win this evening, he would be in the upcoming Players' Championship in a couple of weeks for the top 16. In fact, he'd move up to 10th on the one-year list. Not thrilled with that positional shot, though.
No, again, position on the blue has not been his forte today. This time he's overdone it. He knew that there was an angle perfect on the blue where he could go into the 3 reds and almost guarantee being on something, but he hasn't got that angle. And he knows a 53-point lead is all well and good, but it's not enough. He's a good player with his opposite hand. He's played a number of shots left-handed. And he might be playing a further one here if he can reach it.
57.
Yes, he's very good.
58.
Ambidextrous. So he needs to finish off frames like this as quickly as he possibly can. Well, I think he went into them, but the bonus is he's on the other red and he needs one more red, barring
65.
Snookers, to make a very bright start to the evening session.
Great long red to get in. Off Judd Trump's break. And with that going in, Trump needs a couple of snookers, so this is the perfect start for the underdog. The crowd acknowledging the significance of that pot. Trump was effusive in his praise of his opponent tonight ahead of this final, saying what a dangerous, exciting player he is. It's strange, isn't it, to think of Trump as the veteran in a generational battle, but it is
69.
the case this evening. He's 13 years his opponent's senior, Trump, 34.
70.
Yes, and of course Judd was the oldest of the 4 semi-finalists in an era when we still talk about the class of '92. This week, well, I think refreshingly, it's not been quite like that. We have seen some young talent emerging. Sam Craigie,
74.
Jiahui, really good players. Karen Wilson,
75.
not exactly a young player, but younger than Judd.
And now the possibility of starting this final session
82.
with his 5th century of the week. He made a couple in that remarkable comeback, miraculous comeback, whichever adjective you want to use, against Liu Hao Shan in the qualifying round when he was 4-0 down and 1-5-4.
83.
Made another century against Karen Wilson in the semi-finals.
Well, Sullivan did the same in 2012 when he won here, didn't he? Because he was 4-0 down, not in the first qualifier, but against Andrew Higginson.
88.
And then eventually beat him and won the title, so it's been done before. I'm not saying he's going to win this final, but if he continues like this, he'll go close.
Well, he's taken these superbly, hasn't he? That moment of irritation when he failed to get prime position on the blue, but using his opposite hand to retain
96.
the situation, and he is in
90.
full flow. And when he plays like this, he really is pretty scary for any opponent. What a start to the evening. The crowd loving it. His 49th professional century, his 13th this season.
105.
But most importantly, back within a single frame of Judd Trump when he was pretty close to falling 4 adrift this afternoon.
110.
It's the kind of start he wanted, not just the frame, not just the century, to restore his confidence. Fabulous break this, and look at this shot as well at the end. Top class stuff.
Food for thought for Trump. Magnificent. A superb clearance from Jiahui. His 5th century of the tournament to close to just 1 behind. Judd Trump now leading 5-4. What a start to the final session of this year's German Masters, the Brandon Parker Trophy, the prize at the end of the evening for whoever gets to 10 frames. And Jiahui, courtesy of that brilliant clearance of 123. Now within one frame of the 2-times winner Judd Trump, who won it back-to-back in 2020 and 2021. Was also a runner-up to Ding Junhui back in 2014. So he's very familiar with reaching the sharp end of this event. And of course, hungry for yet another title. Would be his 27th ranking event success. And that would put him within one of the great Steve Davis, but there's a lot of work for him to do before he can think about that, particularly the way his opponent started the night.
Well, there's a red at the bottom of the bunch to the left corner and one to the right corner from the other side. That's pretty well played as well. He's right behind that one. The other one is there. He might play on the second red with such an angle to open them. See what the plan is. Oh, goodness. Well,
Jiahui, 3.
what a dreadful shot to miss. Anyone can miss balls, but he can do without them tonight. I think he was looking at where the cue ball finished, as we all were. Forgot the pot.
Trump attempting the safe double, knowing that he couldn't leave anything if he missed it. And could have been in business had he got it, but at least from Jiahui's point of view, he didn't leave a straightforward red, having missed that one surprisingly.
Yeah, he's just got a little bit of previous, hasn't he? If you think about that World Championship, amazing comeback from Luca Bracel, which we do talk about a lot, but he missed a bad green when he was way in front into that third session, which he was clearing up. It was just a green off the spot. And it kind of turned the whole match. And that red he's missed was fairly... You just couldn't really fathom that he was going to miss it.
Not thrilled to leave the cue ball short of the cushion there either, so perhaps still feeling a bit of a hangover from that surprising miss, because he could have been away again there, couldn't he? Another big break, possibly 5 each. You never know, had that red gone in.
I don't think there's anything that can be done here. Doesn't matter if he leaves it on the cushion or not. Judd's only going to roll into the bunch, and we're going to get a re-rack, I think. Unless Judd particularly wants to avoid one by pushing this red down the table, the one that's over the middle. It's a dangerous shot, though, because he could get a double kiss in trying to avoid a re-rack. Might just want to play 2 or 3 negative runs into the bunch and set him up again. He's taking the positive step. Perhaps. Nope.
Touching ball.
So Jiahui will not be able to play into bulk, I don't think. It'll be a huge gamble. So what can he do that's meaningful here? See what I'm saying? It's a bit of a stalemate. I think they should rack them up. Start the frame again is my feelings on this.
Normally there'd be a glance between the pair.
Eye contact.
Yeah, it looks at the moment, doesn't it, as you say, as though Trump would prefer not to do that. He's trying to find a way to progress the frame in a conventional way, but again reverting to the containing safety.
I mean, Tatiana might just have a look at them both in a minute. The referee, Tatiana Wollaston, given that it's hard to see where the progress could possibly come. Neither player can afford to leave a red to the middle, could cost them the frame. I mean, Judd is the last player you'd think would just run into the back of the bunch. But sometimes you have no real choice. Just done something quite similar there. A fairly negative shot, which is understandable. Just seen a century from his young opponent.
They have played 4 times before, and each time Trump has been victorious. All of those best-of-7 frame matches, 3 of them in the home nations. All of them comfortable wins for Trump, actually. He only dropped 5 frames in those 4 matches. But, of course, Jiahui had never beaten Kyron Wilson in 4 previous attempts and got the better of him.
I'm just thinking exactly the same. Very similar record. Apart from that, of course, that incredible shootout frame they played together. So, again, I would say this is not going far, this frame, anytime soon.
Touch and ball.
Who's going to look across to the other player out of the 2 of them is the question.
Oh, one of the fans, at least, suggesting what we've been thinking about, i.e. a re-rack.
I don't think that the fans have got any say in the matter, though. It's between the 2 players and the referee.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear that neither are in the market for one at the moment. And that's why.
Amazing. Amazing pot. He probably felt that there was no risk this time because he was going to cover the other red. And what a way to get in that was. In a position of absolutely nothing. That is why he's such a player.
And the black wasn't too shabby either because it was missable. Cut back.
Oh dear.
9.
He's extremely fortunate there, however. That was a bad positional shot. He got lucky. Didn't mean to cannon the other red at all.
Sixteen. 17. 24. 25.
'That's a very good shot. Didn't have a lot of leeway there.
30.
There is a red to the right of the bunch, just slightly sticking out. But to play on it off his next colour, if you play the pink, of course, it might not be available very easily when the
31.
pink is respotted. So I think pink with an angle to nudge reds open here is the plan. Very deft little shot.
37. 38.
That'll do. Just arced slightly away from the Reds and caught the left side.
45.
But he has pushed one out.
$46.
Judd Trump can't displace Ronnie O'Sullivan as the new world #1, even if he's to win this title this evening, but he'd be within a few thousand points of him. He does claim a hat-trick as Jiahui watches on. What a great red it was by Trump to get in initially for this break. And it looked as though we might be heading for a re-rack.
It's true, but prior to this red being knocked in, if you remember before the virtual stalemate, he missed a simple red to the right corner. See, having potted a red and a yellow. This was the red he missed. Hard to think of a reason why he would have missed it. Absolute sitter.
54.
That shot alone hasn't cost him the frame, but of course he would have been at the table first had he not missed it.
Having just knocked in that brilliant century. So it was out of the blue, that error. You could see his disappointment when he missed it.
61.
Looks as though he's going to be 2 behind again. But this has been a well-crafted break from Trump. He did get a little bit lucky
62.
with one positional shot, but the rest has been all skill.
It's a very good start to the evening session, isn't it? Great atmosphere, tremendous standard already.
68.
This is the key ball.
69.
Well, it's hard to imagine a finer spectacle than 2 players like this playing their best. We saw the best of C in the first frame tonight, and we've seen a champion's response from Trump in this one. 2 players who love to attack.
76.
Fantastic potters. They have that X factor. A final befitting this great venue. And it's going to be Trump who moves 2 frames clear once again.
Red to middle, and the 2 reds on the left, of course, they're not easy where they are, but of course, as a left-hander, Judd will be able to reach across, not have to use the rest on them.
85.
The right-hand red, of course, he might play on it into the middle pocket by leaving the cue ball on the left cush. That's what he has tried. He's done it well.
The possibility of making 100 centuries in a single campaign for the 2nd time very much on for Trump. He has been extraordinarily prolific this season once again in that regard.
93.
64 already in this campaign. Which is 26 clear. Make that now 27 of his nearest rivals.
101.
And what a break this has been. You could see that he had no interest at all in a re-rack, Judd Trump. He wanted to bide his time before he got in with the red, and it was an excellent one. And he's made the most of it.
Yeah, we didn't get a century all afternoon in the 8 frames we saw.
108.
But we've got a couple already tonight, so standard's gone up a notch. Look at this shot.
100.
Wizardry.
There's nothing he can't do with a cue ball. And he loves to entertain.
113.
What a start to the evening we've had. A 1-2-3 from Jiahui, 113 in response from Judd Trump to move 2 clear once again and within 4 of the title. The 2 times German Masters champion leads by 6 frames to 4. blistering start to the evening. Jiahui asking the question with that opening salvo of 123. Judd Trump, who had a chance to lead 6-2 this afternoon, had to settle for 5-3 and then found himself at 5-4 up, has responded in typical fashion. 113 from him. His 8th century of the tournament to go 2 clear again, and within 4 of the title.
Well, it's quite a handy little nudge rather than a full contact on the yellow. I think a lot depends on what happens in the next couple of frames here. We saw the Jiahui attack from the start of the evening with the century. Judd coming back there. You know, I guess the only person that could put this match away in the next couple of frames is of course Judd. If he takes them both, he's got a lot of daylight between himself and Jiahui. But for now, not quite the case. He's a bit like Judd, very dangerous. Hard to keep out of the action for very long periods. But he has to brush up on certain elements of his game, like that safety shot, which was not played to the highest level. I suppose as a 21-year-old, he's still inexperienced, understandably. But he's learning all the time. Don't think he has to learn much, Jiahui, about his long game, because it seems to be there. It's just a few rough edges. And he'll look at this red to the right corner, which is difficult, and he probably would fancy potting it, but doesn't mean he will. But that's maybe how the young brigade see these shots. You've got to cue them very sweetly. Half an eye on getting the cue ball up the table from it, which he has achieved. I noticed during that century from Judd in the last frame, looking over at Jiahui, he was studying the way that Judd plays very intently, watching every move that he was making around the table, almost learning on the job against him.
One.
It's another great shot.
Very difficult pot. Well negotiated by Trump, cueing close to the side cushion. He hasn't been phased at all, has he, by that opening blitz from Jiahui?
I think that's a great shot. We've just seen of it on replay. It does sometimes foreshorten the distance between the balls, though. It was a long pot and it was very accurately played. Now, what is he on this time? I think he played to nudge something, but didn't quite manage it.
8.
Well, this plant's not easy. Goodness, if he plays this. I guess at least all 3 balls are sort of in a line, which helps. But the distance between them is substantial. Well, It looked bad, didn't it? But it's because it hit the red on the way through.
Judd Trump, 8.
Yeah, nothing threatened the pocket there. Quite a lot moved, but at least from Trump's point of view, he got the cue ball back to the baulk area. Frustrated, clearly, having knocked in such a great opening red, that visit only resulted in 8 points.
What he has done, though, is in hitting that red on the way through, the reds have spread all over the table, so an escape to baulk is not simple for C.
That too was a long way off. Nothing easy left, but can Trump find a pot here?
Sometimes you look at Jiahui and he's clearly a brilliant player, a brilliant prospect, and he hasn't been winning this season. Sometimes you can see why Jiahui is brilliant and sometimes why he doesn't win all the time either. It's just a combination of very good and sometimes not so good, his game.
Oh, that's a terrific pot again from Trump. Clean as a whistle this time.
Yeah, I like the idea with the cue ball not leaving anything, but Brown with the red in baulk is all there for him now. It's quite a clever place to stick the cue ball after the shot.
Five. Six.
It's easy to forget now, given the season Trump has had, that last season was, certainly in the ranking events, a bit of a frustrating one for him, and at times he was even getting bogged down in matches which you've never associated him with in the past. He didn't win a ranking tournament. He did make the final of the World Grand Prix, losing to Mark Allen. Of course, he won the Masters, but even in that tournament, it was a bit of a battle for him throughout until the last session, really, when he turned it on
10.
to come from behind to beat Williams for his second Masters crown. But this season, it's been normal business resumed, really. So consistent.
11.
Reminiscent of that extraordinary consistency that he found, particularly after he won the world title, when he won 11 ranking tournaments in 2 seasons. Seems to have that mojo back again this season. His long game has returned. And okay, he has lost in a few finals, but he's getting to the sharp end of virtually
70.
every event he enters at the moment.
$18.
April doesn't feel far away, does it? The World Championship is already looming large, even though there are big events still to come, not least the final leg of the Home Nations in just over a week's time here on Eurosport. But it certainly feels as though Trump is once again a leading contender,
26.
having lost, as Neil mentioned earlier, in the first round last season to Anthony McGill when he seemed out of sorts. Seems to be hitting top form just at the right time this season with the Crucible in mind.
Well, that's a
29.
left-hander, he's not quite come far enough. It's a bit of a stretch, this red, from here. That's all right. He's worried about being snookered on the 2 reds. You can see how much that he was stretching across. He had no more leverage on that score. I think any more, you'd have had to use the rest. Swinging the cue around. A couple of cushions here. Into an area where he's got a choice of reds.
37.
Well, it's okay. It's not A1 position. You might think about the pink to left centre to play on the red just to the right of the pink. But I think he initially played on the black.
He looks very sharp though, doesn't he? And he's not been remotely phased by that opening century from Jiahui. If anything, it's inspired Trump to find an extra gear.
45.
Yes, the plan there was to nudge into the two reds and bring them into play. But he hasn't quite achieved that goal, and there's a bit more to do. They certainly need one red with a high value colour, or very likely even two reds from here.
Fifty-two.
And he's got the angle to play red-black, and then all of a sudden it's a snooker required.
53.
And Jiahui has potted just 2 balls since that century. Missed the straightforward red to this right corner early in the previous frame. Then watched Judd Trump make a century. And there goes frame ball. So it's looking very likely to be a 3-frame cushion again for Trump. He led 5-2 this afternoon. Could have been 6-2. Felt significant that C was able to fall over the line in that 8th frame after Trump had missed a black. But he's going to be 3 behind again. And Trump is playing exceptionally well. He looks very sharp.
68. 69.
Loves this tournament. Going for a hat-trick, of course. In this, his 4th final at the Templedrum.
You're right, though, he is looking sharp, and I don't think all week he's been particularly sharp. He had a 5-0 win against Lucas Kleckers, who didn't really perform to any level in front of his home crowd.
76.
1 or 2 matches along the way where he played well, but not all of them. But as we know, get him to finals weekend, and it brings the best out in him. That's why he's here again. Difficult man to shift when it comes to the final Sunday of an event.
80.
This is 43rd ranking final appearance, going for title number
84.
27, 5th in the all-time list, and still only 34.
$91. 92.
It's going to be something with the pretty simple
99.
yellow here to bring up century in 3 frames only played tonight. It's the standard of the highest level.
Incredible stuff. The crowd are loving it. 66 centuries for the season now for Judd Trump. Next highest, 38.
$108.
968 for his career. Jiahui started the night with an impressive century that might have made Judd Trump think a bit. In fact, it's inspired him to greater heights. 2 centuries of his own in response to move 3 clear once again, and within 3 of the German Masters title. He leads Jiahui here in Berlin, 7 frames to 4. The Temple Drum is abuzz, and what snooker they're being treated to this evening. That is the magnificent Brandon Parker Trophy, named in honour of the late World Snooker director, who was also manager of players like Sean Murphy and Kyron Wilson, who was the pioneer of this tournament back in 2011, much missed. Who's going to be lifting that trophy aloft, as well as a cheque for £80,000 at the moment. Judd Trump very much in the box seat. He's playing superbly, but C has shown that, given the chance, he can do likewise. So if he can win this frame, share this mini session, he's still in the match.
It's almost as if when Jiahui won that first frame with that beautiful century, it sort of got Judd Trump pumped up for what came in the next 2 frames, almost as if he needed to be kick-started into action.
Became only the 5th player to win ranking titles in a row earlier this season. Holds the record for 6 in a single campaign, going for his 4th tonight. At one stage he won 22 consecutive matches.
Yes, and I think his form tailed off a little bit after that, only because he's a human being and he can't always be razor sharp with his game. He was soundly beaten in the final of the Champion of Champions by Mark Allen, and there seemed to be just a, as well as Allen was very good in that match, but Judd was not as sharp as he had been either. But he's back with a bang this time.
Looked as though he was almost threatening that white not to drop into the pocket there. Judd Trump's giving it the daggers, and it worked. It's a withering look, isn't it?
Just looking for where he can leave the cue ball. Somewhere where he had his cue there, in line with the yellow, down onto the cushion, just somewhere that's very awkward to Once again, an attempt to get in behind the green is what he's after. Hasn't quite managed it. But that'll do.
Whatever happens this evening, he'll enjoy a new career high ranking in the official list. He's up to 24th, getting to the final, Jiahui. He'll be 20th if he wins this evening. And as mentioned, he'll be well and truly in the upcoming Players' Championship for the top 16 on the one-year list if he's triumphant tonight.
Well, I'm glad he's having a second look, because it appears to be very tight to get past that blue to pop the red. I'm not sure. What do you think at home? I don't think he can pop that ball without going into the blue ball first. He can get to the red on the left side, the one that's fairly close to the pocket on the cushion, with centre ball striking, but that one, I don't think the potting angle is available to him. Well, he's queuing right over the top of the green, so it's a tough shot to play the thin safety here. Can't get the same levels of accuracy when you're queuing down so much on the ball.
Hasn't potted one for 36 minutes.
One.
But he's potted that one all right, cued it well. However, no position to go with it.
No, I think he got hold of the cue ball too much. He absolutely flew back down the table. He finished on the one place down at the bulk end where nothing now pots in the way of a colour.
Jiahui 1.
Been annoyed by that because it was a terrific red, but it will count for very little. Seemed a very risky shot to play. I can't think that the red was ever going to go anywhere like different to how it has. It's a narrow potting angle, this one. So it's not a simple shot, but it seemed an odd shot selection from Jiahui. But he's got away with it because, like I say, that wasn't sitting over the pocket. He had to drop it in.
Judd Trump knows the importance of this frame as well. An 8-4 lead would really put him in such a commanding position. 7-5, and he'd still have plenty of work to do. Goodness, flirting with that centre pocket again. He could easily have left that red. He hasn't done in the event. Can just feel the tension around this frame, even though Trump's 3 clear. They're both acutely aware of the significance of this one.
Judd Trump 7.
Did he come round and have a look at that? Because it did seem that the black was sure to go very close to the right corner. He's played 3 quite strange shots already in this frame.
This is a tough one. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant cueing from Trump. It really is.
Yeah, very good. He didn't want to be straight on the green, but I think he is. Brown's a very thin pot, but this was lovely cueing. I mean, from the green, he's probably got the cue power and the cue speed to whip the cue ball back down towards the reds. But for him, if it's tough, then for other players, it wouldn't be even possible. So you'll see the speed through the ball here. He's going to hit this hard. Play with screw and left-hand running side.
4.
Reverse side, which sort of run up the cushion.
Trump looking to see if the black goes here in between those reds.
Yeah, it's through the eye of a needle, isn't it, as to whether it does. Once again, I don't think that potting angle is there unless he plays it with side, which I don't believe he'd want to do.
Probably Judd Trump's best all-round performance of the week was against Jiahui when he flew into a 4-0 lead in around about 40-odd minutes. He was quite magnificent. He made 3 centuries. It looked at one stage as though he was going to win 5-0. Missed 1 ball and Jiahui won a couple of frames. But that's gone wrong. To some degree, at least.
It's been a hard work. Break of 13, this, isn't it? With the low-value colours, difficult shots positionally. Might be able to get to the potting angle again, heading down the table, though.
14.
He's not missing much, is he, Trump? He's looked very sharp tonight. Didn't get a look in the first frame, broke off and C made the century, but since then he's been outstandingly good. Another great red to get in this frame. And these tricky pots are going in the centre.
That's a very good shot to be on that red.
16.
He's taken 4 reds and 4 bulk colours for a break of 16 here. But now the high value colours come into play.
$24. 25. $31. 32.
Well, he's had back-to-back centuries here already, looking for 3 in a row. I don't think that's at the forefront of his mind. Of course, we've had a century in every frame tonight because of the one that C started the evening with. But, I mean, as I say, early on, it was really hard work, reds and low-value colours, this break. But now he played such a key shot from yellow to the red near the pink spot. And it really did open things up for him for what's to come since.
It's looking like a case of don't poke the beast, isn't it? With Jiahui starting the evening perfectly, but that has only served to inspire
45.
Trump to greater heights.
46.
He's been pretty much immaculate since that opening frame. This is the shot that Neil was alluding to, and the initial red that he got in with was brilliantly cued as well.
Well, it's frame ball, and the cannon might just enable quite a few more in this break.
60.
Nice to think he could make another century here. Crowd wouldn't
61.
say no to that. I can.
$68.
Like all great players, Trump has that ability to find a new level when the prize is on the line, and he's certainly doing that this evening.
Yeah, he actually tried to move the top red there, so he'd be annoyed that he hasn't achieved that. The century's in doubt now. Didn't pot it cleanly. I think the red is going to have to go up the table into the yellow pocket. I think we saw him pot something similar on the other
74.
side this afternoon. This will bring the house down if this goes in.
He's always drifting to the far jaw, that one, but it's another brilliant break from Judd Trump. Another frame-winning contribution. He's played quite magnificently. Finalists, richly deserved as well. They put on a real show, particularly this evening.
Judd Trump to break.
Trump 2 frames away from being crowned champion once again here. Frame 13 of a possible 19.
Yeah, very tall order from here. Of course, while Jiahui can keep Judd to 8 frames rather than on the brink at 9, I suppose he'll feel he's got just a little bit of room to manoeuvre, but not a load. He'll have to play.
Foul. The miss.
He had to make a very thin contact. He just missed it by an absolute whisker. But given that the cue ball went in to the top left pocket, I think Judd will, from hand, be fancying this long red. May have played to kiss the red out by the black, but either way he's landed on the pink to middle.
Seven.
Good cueing again from Trump from the side cushion. Not easy when you've got so little of the cue ball to aim at. But again, he managed to hit it sufficiently well to get out for this blue. And he's never been remotely fazed by going in and out of baulk. Even though, once again, the cue ball isn't great.
30.
Yeah, this time it's not good at all. That this red to the right of the black from there is quite a difficult one. Awkward cueing. Well, if you're going to miss those
13.
playing them that gently, you're always going to miss them thick in contact, which he did. Don't know why it is, but it'll always be the way you miss them. Just holding for the black, I suppose.
One.
But on the way through, he wanted to be straighter on the red to hold for the black. Now he can't do that.
And the cueing was awkward enough for that red to be missable, so Sia's lost his way a little since he missed that much easier red into the opposite corner after such a great start to the evening with the century. He's barely troubled the scorers since then.
Yes, and chances haven't been coming, but that was a half-decent opportunity there. As I say, the positional side of it from the previous shot was probably the reason he missed when he did. The worst place to finish. No position on the blue ball, to his annoyance. Not his. Well, he's not going to risk a shot at a bolt colour here. He can't see any reason to present an easy chance back to see Jiahui, who could do with something right now.
Yellow ball. Judd.
He's got to be careful here on the way back up from safety not to hit that left-hand red. It's not quite in play. If you call something a little thick, he could hit it. The natural up and down just misses the red, sending the cue ball into bulk. But when you've got Judd Trump playing the shot after you, you know, you have to make sure your safety is absolutely immaculate. Well, he's faced with this sort of a shot the last time he came to the table in that top left-hand corner. But taking a different route this time. That's a very good safety shot. I mean, I don't think you could beat that from where he was. That's first class. It's a very good exchange, this one. Judd is holding his own to anything that's thrown at him in the safety department by Jiahui.
Just 5 balls potted from Jiahui in the last hour of play. And it all started with that routine red when he looks set to make another sizable break, having made the century in the first frame tonight. But since then, very little from him. Doing his best here to win this safety battle, give himself a chance to stay in the match. Keep trump on 8 frames, as Neil mentioned. Good cue ball.
It was a very difficult shot. He did well to avoid hitting something. Heading back to bolt, but he hasn't found the cushion and he's left a thin red. But he was in a lot of trouble, actually.
One.
That's a handy nudge, but you wouldn't want to deny him it because he hasn't potted many balls, as we've heard, not recently. And if there's going to be any kind of a comeback, he's going to need a few kisses to go his way.
Yeah, and he won the safety battle, that was key. Left trump in quite a predicament just now, and that has created this chance for him.
4.
Obviously the black isn't great at the moment.
Five.
Now, he's quite congested
10.
into that left corner, but the red obviously goes through the gap and the black to follow it. So that was a very good shot to finish there.
11. Nineteen. 24.
Well, he was looking across at the black, which is obviously fairly
25.
tight, but to that right corner it does go.
Judd Trump sitting in his chair for once for a
32.
sustained spell. Jiahui left him in an awkward spot on the baulk cushion, and that has created this chance. A chance, if nothing else, just to get that cue arm going again, because as we mentioned,
40.
he's potted precious few balls since he made the century in the first frame of the night.
41. $48. 49.
Played it well to run around the three cushions like that to get on the black again. And it could break this. He needs this red to leave snookers required, but he's taken them so well because there were so many
56.
reds around the black spot when he came to the table. This is excellent stuff. Stop the rot in no uncertain terms with this break.
A vital intervention from C. Needed to keep Trump
64.
a couple of frames from the winning line, really. And he's done that in fine style by the looks of it. Just checking the scoreboard. 54 the lead, only 43 left.
Jiahui, 64.
And Judd Trump nods his head. So, Jiahui gives himself a realistic chance of turning this final around by winning that frame and getting the gap back to just 3. Judd Trump now leading 8 frames to 5. Jiahui has stopped the rot
Frame
after
14.
Judd Trump won
Jiahui.
3 consecutive frames, 2 of them with centuries for 8-4. C stepping in with that excellent 64 break to close to 8-5. 10, of course, is the target for the title. The first prize of £80,000 and the Brandon Parker Trophy. As C brings a red up the table, but he's covered it, I believe. Certainly he's got a good cue ball. Tatiana Williston having a good look. He's been playing some decent safety in the last frame and a bit. Jiahui, and of course that is vital against an informed trump, that he keeps the cue ball on that baulk rail. Red's certainly fanning out very invitingly. Another good return this time from Trump.
Yeah, and Jiahui just almost applauded that shot because it really was well played. A little shake of the head. There's been some very fine safety played by both players in this evening's session. And how does he get a thin edge of anything? Or failing that, is there a containing shot? I don't think there is to this end of the table, with the red fairly low on the left side. So it doesn't leave a lot. Might end up having to go for something if there's no other alternative. He wouldn't want to, because the pot would be pretty nasty. Just wondering if he can get to the edge of the bunch, the four reds, and throw it wide around the angles. But after a minute plus of checking, there is no obvious shot. So you might be coming to the point going around the back of that red. In the end, it's a fairly decent defensive option.
Week for Judd Trump, of course. 80,000 on the line tonight if he wins, but he's already bagged 150,000 for winning the Bet Victor European Series bonus for a third time with a tournament to spare, the Welsh Open, in a week's time. No one can catch him. Just a measure of his consistency, the success he's had this season already.
One.
He's so good at that shot, rolling something to middle on the way back up the table to baulk. It's a shot he plays so well. All part of his game is how he creates chances from not much. Like the frame earlier, which looked for all the world like it was going to be a re-rack because nothing was happening for a number of shots, and he potted a red to that left middle again. Made a big break from it.
5.
And that's also very nicely played. Exactly the nudge he was looking for. He might be able to shift the other two reds here as well. They're in the way of the black to the other pocket.
Well.
He's played 4 good shots in a row here.
A very rare mobile phone here at the Temple Drum. You don't hear them very often.
13.
But Trump back in the zone, it would seem.
He You know why that is, don't you, Phil? That mobile phone is so rare here is because when the MC Rolf Kalb requests that phone, as you get everywhere else at the Tempest Round, they actually do it. They do turn their phone off and don't ignore the advice.
Yes, etiquette here has always been outstanding. Just very passionate about their snooker. Of course, they had the privilege of watching their own man, Lucas Kleckers, on the table earlier this week against Trump. Sadly for Lucas, it didn't work out. Trump was in unforgiving mood, won 5-0, but the truth is they just love the sport, period.
19.
Doesn't matter who's playing. And they create quite an atmosphere.
20. $27. $28. $35.
Which were a little awkward there, the way they were placed. The cue
51.
might have just deflected off them and up the side of the table. So he played the shot because he's nearing the point of
52.
winning the frame.
$57. $58.
Now this time now he's cleared those two reds that were open. He probably has to play to deflect into the bunch in some way. Still 75 on, so he does need a red and a colour after this black. And this is some kind of a plant there. It is end of break.
65.
Three reds are fairly well lined up to the corner pocket, but surely that would be very fortunate if he's on a plant. You know what, it's not a million miles away. I think if he were to miss this, it probably would be left side of the pocket as we were looking. But does he really need to take that risk? Way back into the frame for Jiahui, perhaps. Of course, the other thing he doesn't want to do is get the other red off the cushion, the safe red. It's left him in something of a predicament. Well, I think the problem is he might miss the jaw if he's going to miss it at all. And it went in off the left jaw, but what a shot to take on.
It went in at a great rate of knots. The crowd certainly were thrilled by that one, and even Jiahui is applauding it.
I think he felt as if he didn't really know what else he could play, because it was a risk, given that he's a long way in front of the frame.
Is this in, though? He was up very early, never a good sign.
Trump,
Still 67 on the table.
Wow. After that plant and all the shots before, he misses frame ball. So there's just a glimmer of hope in this frame for Jiahui. Blacks with all these 5 reds, though. That's the first objective. Nothing else will do.
What a frame this would be for C to steal. That could certainly change the dynamic in this final. Trump was nailed on, it seemed, there for 9-5. 4 up with 5 to play. This would be boost for Jiahui if he could somehow conjure a clearance here.
9.
It's going to take some doing, though. I think the red on the right's the problem red, more so than the one on the cushion, because you know he's got to get on it and get on the black from it, with the middle pocket blocked off by the blue. But for now, he's got to take what he can, see where it leads.
16. Seventeen. Twenty-four. 25.
Every shot being cheered at the moment. The neutrals in this venue will want C to come back, I'm sure. Make this tight.
As I say, that was always going to be the problem red, though.
32.
And he was very disappointed, understandably, but if he can put a good...
Jiahui, 32.
Wow. It's end up a good shot, but he actually hit that blue, which was close enough to the pocket before he hit it. Thankfully, it never dropped in.
This has become the biggest frame of the final so far. Judd Trump looked to certainty when he knocked in that terrific plant to make it 9-5, but then missed the blue, allowing C back into the frame. Trump is only 1 pot away from winning it even now, but at the moment snookered on that red. And there's nothing safe. Good hit, trusting to luck where the red ends up. Wasn't far away from fluking it. As he snookered him, nevertheless, would appear he has done.
I think hitting that snooker was also very significant because it'll still be that Jiahui needs a black with this red. Any other colour, lower value with the blue over the hole would have been okay had he missed the snooker. Difficult one, this. Ooh. Well, it was a really awkward red, and he had to screw around the angles for the black, but he left it unmissable.
Just this red for Trump for 9-5.
1.
And he'll be relieved because having missed the blue, there was definitely some jeopardy there for Trump. Judd Trump clears to the pink and moves to within 1 frame of a 3rd German Masters title. Jiahui now has a mountain to climb. Judd Trump extending his lead to 9 frames to 5, 1 away from the trophy.
Well, I think if he is going to make any sort of a comeback, Jiahui, he's going to have to really get his scoring together and win frames quickly and in a single scoring visit. Play basically the snooker of his life from here.
Touch and ball.
Well, the touching ball is the call. I wonder if Judd can reach across and attempt to pot this. If so, it was not much of a shot that was played by Jiahui to leave it on. Yeah, the left-hander's shot, isn't it?
1.
If you right-handed play, you could never get to that from that side, obviously. Well, that came as a big surprise. Just putting a bit of extra pace into it to take the cue ball away from the cushion. back into the middle of the table, but I didn't think he'd miss it. Doubt anyone here in the Temple Drum thought that either.
1. Five. Six.
Nicely done. Just caught the left jaw, but that I think might have made the shot on the black a little straighter than he hoped for, but the pot was a decent one. I'll be a little surprised by the blue he missed. It was one he would very rarely miss. How costly will it be? That's a great shot, but he hasn't, it seems, got on the black very well, if at all. And he's taking this on. Oh, what a shot that is. It's almost like he's had enough of playing safe and he wants to just make things happen. Brilliant.
16.
He's going to need another good pot. This is by no means a formality. Very nearly fluked it.
Jiahui, 16.
As he left it, I think maybe the yellow's covering the pocket. Feels like do or die, doesn't it, for C?
Well, I don't blame him throwing his cue at a few and seeing what comes of it, but he has left the red on. That's the problem. Yellow's not covering. It was such a good yellow to keep the break going, but it's hard to keep potting difficult balls into the bunch here. Great split. He's on a couple of reds, certainly the red to the right corner, but I wonder if anything else was available to him. He deserves to be on something after that shot. It's quite a thin red, isn't it? From the overhead you can see that right-hand red's quite thin contact, more so than it looks. So through the gap, the other red.
Six.
Amazingly, he's kind of come in between about 3 or 4 possible reds that he could have gone for. He is on one, I think, the one to the right, but he's very tight either way. Yeah, that will pot. You can definitely get through the potting angle there, if nothing else is available. He's thinking about the possibility of getting on the black from it. Anyway, up the table he's gone.
11.
He's tying up the fact that the black could be onto the left corner from certain areas on the right side.
Brown ball. 15.
See Jiahui resolved to go all out on the attack at the start of this frame. Potted a couple of great balls, but the awkward
16.
red eluded him, and he did leave one for Trump. This is the result. And now, the 2 times winner of this event, looking to go for the jump.
Well, he's turned this into a chance to get the match
29.
when he went for that red and missed it. He felt that the red was being covered perhaps by the yellow, close, and he would get more chances,
30.
but it might be that he won't get another shot from here.
I think he'll look back at that red he missed in the second frame of the evening. He'd started quite brilliantly, the perfect start, making a century off Judd Trump's break.
37.
And he was in early in the next. And this is the red in question. Came out of the blue, really, when he might have been eyeing 5 each. And then, of course, it's a very different final. But since then, Trump has very much been in charge. Played superbly.
43.
Well, he has. I mean, this has been an interesting week for Judd because he has played very well when pushed, especially this evening.
44.
But I don't think he's played at his best all week. You know, he's almost limped through the odd match just by his determination and his all-round game. Safe in the knowledge that when the good stuff comes along, he's virtually untouchable. And it's just another week of hard work for him,
50.
culminating in being here on finals day and playing some terrific snooker. He can't pot all the balls all the
51.
time, and he's found a recipe or a blend that can get him home in early round matches.
36 the lead.
Yeah, so taking the pink. See Jiahui can still win, but not for very long, I don't suspect. This is tournament ball coming up.
57.
Didn't win a single ranking event last season, even though he did claim the Masters, and now he's a ball away from his 4th in this campaign already. And as so many pots have been in the centre from Judd Trump, he's been ruthless. It's been a great week for Jiahui after the disappointment of the way in which he lost the World semi-final last season. He's got to his 1st ranking final. He's moved to a career high ranking in the process. But he's going to fall a little short tonight in the face of the form player. Utterly
64.
dedicated to what he achieves on the match table. Judd Trump treats every tournament with equal importance and respect, and he's snaffled yet another one.
He has. He can't make a century here. Can reach 99. That's about it, but not that that's a bad break to make. And while he got an eye on centuries, I don't think he's worried. What he's got an eye on tonight is the trophy, and he's about to lift it again. It's been a terrific week here in Berlin, and slightly extended tournament has enabled a lot of the best players to be around, and one of the very best has won the whole thing again.
77.
Nothing like the feeling when you know the job is done, another trophy has been bagged. This in front of this capacity Berlin crowd at the Templedrome. A wonderful achievement again from Trump. A 4th title this season, in his 7th final. He has defeated Jiahui 10-5 to become German Masters champion once again. And listen to the din. The crowd have loved the entertainment this week. They've loved watching Jiahui show what enormous potential he has. But it's Judd Trump who has walked away with the Brandon Parker Trophy for a 3rd time. And our MC, Rolf Kalb, will now talk to the players.
Jiahui. Ich muss vorwegschicken, meine Damen und Herren, ich spreche leider kein Chinesisch. Tai Cheng-si wird für uns ins Englische übersetzen. Jiahui, commiserations, but still an amazing week for you, reaching your first ever final.
能够打进你的第1次的决赛，已经是一个非常神奇的壮举了。你感觉怎么样？
我对自己的表现还可以，我觉得就是，当然我的对手是加德，所以我觉得我输了也很正常，然后向他学习吧。
I had an incredible run into the final, but after all, my opponent is Judd. He's an amazing player, he's a top player, so a lot to learn from him. I enjoyed this week. 里面能够完成自己的第1个决赛，也一定是很难忘的经历，对不对？
是的，是的，德国的观众都特别热情，然后赛场也布置得也特别好，所以我挺享受这次的比赛的。
Yes, the German crowd is very passionate, it's fantastic, and this is a brilliant venue. It's very enjoyable.
Jiahui, meine Damen und Herren. Congratulations, Judd. Your 3rd German crown, although one was in Milton Keynes, but still you are the record champion now.
Firstly, I just want to thank everyone that come here this week and supported the event. The crowds have been amazing, and this is definitely one of my favourite events on the calendar.
Also vor solch einem Publikum, das ist definitiv eines seiner Lieblingsevents. 2 back-to-back finals now. It's going from good to better for you.
It's been an amazing season so far. I think I've reached 7 finals, 6 ranking finals, and this is my 4th win. But I think every tournament is special, but when you get to play in front of a crowd like this and lift the trophy, is kind of the moments that you remember at the end of your career. So happy to be back here playing, and so happy to win in front of this amazing crowd.
So big weeks are lying ahead with a number of big tournaments. Can you keep this run going? Can you keep the momentum?
Maybe if I take this crowd with me, maybe.
Okay, also you pay the tickets for LA. Er bezahlt die Tickets, damit Sie mitkommen, weil mit Ihnen im Rücken kann er gewinnen. Thank you very much. Meine Damen und Herren, der Judd Trump. Meine Damen und Herren, bitte begrüßen Sie für die Siegerehrung den Chef von Dragon Stars Event Management als Promoter des Bet Victor German Masters, Herrn Thomas Cesar.
So it's time for the presentation Judd Trump all smiles in readiness to collect the Brandon Parker Trophy for a third time.
Beim Victor German Masters 2024 nach einer unglaublichen Leistung, nach einer unglaublichen Woche. Das ist Jiahui,
who has broken new ground this week. A landmark week for Jiahui. Still only 21, of course. His first ranking final. He's up to 24th in the ranking list, a career high. So a lot of good memories for him to take away, even though he fell just short in the title match today.
Die 80.000 Pfund Siegprämie, die Brandon Parker Trophy und der Titel Victor German Masters Champion 2024 für ihn, für Judd Trump.
For Judd Trump, his fourth title in his seventh final. That's 27 ranking titles for his career. He's only one behind the legendary Steve Davis now, and he's still only 34, Neil.
Yes, he's unbelievable. He treats all of these events the same. He loves it here in Berlin, and why wouldn't he? What a crowd, and it's a fabulous tournament. He just loves winning. So it's absolutely terrific to see him lift the trophy here again. Fantastic. The best players won all week.
Yes, many congratulations to a worthy winner, Judd Trump, the amazing Judd Trump. 3 times German Masters champion, unprecedented. The second time he's lifted it here at the Temple Drum. Of course, one of his titles came behind closed doors in Milton Keynes, but this is a very different situation. 3,000 plus fans. His brother Jack with him as well to celebrate the achievement, who of course travels with him around the calendar, and I think has played a big part in this sustained success that Trump has